Hello everyone, my name is Ryan Garcia, and this is my new YouTube channel. I'm still doing everything with Fireside Yankees and Empire Sports Media that I will always do, and it's just in addition to what I'm doing there. Make sure you guys subscribe to this page, like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Let me know what you think about this kind of list and this kind of video, and please give me all the feedback in the world. I'd love to make better and more engaging MLB content while still sticking to my roots of being informative and analytical and trying to create conversation about players in a way that I think is informed and rooted in logic. Obviously, I'm a fan, so there's always going to be some semblance of emotion and bias in some regard, but without further ado, let's just get straight into the video. And the first player we're going to be talking about, coming in at number 10, it's Tatsuya Imai. Now, Tatsuya Imai is a right-handed pitcher coming out of the MPB. He just wrapped up his age 27 season, and the right-hander is someone who I think not enough baseball fans are talking about. His fastball gets up to 99 miles per hour with good vertical ride. He has a weird, funky lower release point that makes that fastball even more deceptive. I really like the characteristics of his secondaries as well. His fastball is a good pitch, but when you add on the fact that you've got a slider that actually moves into right-handed batters a little bit, not away from them, it adds a bit of uniqueness and variety in terms of hitters aren't seeing those kinds of sliders, and I like uniqueness. I think uniqueness in a pitcher or in a pitch type is really desirable. I think we're seeing it with Trey Savage today, where we're seeing him dominate as someone who pitchers are just not pitching like him. Hitters don't see guys like him. It's making it very tough for them to pick up his pitches and generate quality swings. I think someone like Imai has those similar qualities. He's got a great splitter. He's got different variations of his splitter slash changeup. He's got different grips he'll use. He'll vary his mixes. He'll vary his looks. He'll vary his grips and the movement profiles. You'll see him alter his grips constantly. He's got better command than in years past. I do think the command should be looked at as a average tool just because he's only had 1 year with a below average walk rate, but the good strikeout rates, the excellent ability to mix up his pitches, the feel he has for pitching combined with plus stuff, those are things that I really value, and I think ultimately Imai will be very valued on this market. My predictions, I don't know where he ends up going, but I think he'll get a 5 to 6 year deal at around $24 to $25 million a year. It sounds hefty, but for a young pitcher with the upside and the raw talent that he has, I think it's more than worth it. He had a sub-2 ERA this past season in the MPB. I know it's the dead ball era. It's easier to have low ERAs over there, but that was still a dominant mark relative to the league average. Let's move on to Edwin Diaz, who, in my opinion, is the best bullpen piece available in the free agent market. The right-hander struck out over 35% of batters faced once again. His strikeout to walk rate was nearly 30%. His walks aren't really an issue. He has about a league average walk rate for a relief pitcher, while having one of the best swing and miss profiles in the sport. The fastball comes from a low release height. That disgusting bullet slider always vanquishes left-handed and right-handed batters. There's some projectability here. Some people believe he can add a changeup or a third pitch to his repertoire, but even if he doesn't, I think he's going to age pretty well because of how unique his release point is, how well he moves the ball. He has lost some velocity in the last 2 years. That tear he had in his knee during the World Baseball Classic did affect him, but he's remained dominant. The swing and miss stuff is still all the way there. He's not his 2022 self, where he was a historically dominant reliever, maybe the best relief season we've seen in the last 20 years, but Edwin Diaz is still going to be a ninth inning weapon that wins you baseball games. He is a win condition. He's not the kind of player that you hope and pray gets to the outs. He's going to get you to the outs almost every single time, and it's why the Mets were so effective when leading in the ninth inning this past season. I ultimately think he gets a 4-year deal with an AAV north of $20 million, let's say in the $21 to $22 million range, and I ultimately believe that the New York Mets will retain him this winter, but that's just my guess. Coming in at number 8, we have Bichette, who was over 30% better than the league average hitter this past season after spending last year as a below average hitter, having the worst year of his career. Injuries have hurt Bichette in recent years, but I think the ability to play second base gives him a brand new market. Could you see teams like the Red Sox, maybe the Yankees moving Jazz to third potentially? I know they have Ryan McMahon on their contract, but you could see some teams that would not previously show any interest in Bichette show some interest in Bichette because everyone knows he isn't really a shortstop. He had -12 outs above average this past season at the position. defensive run saved and fielding run value were equally as harsh in their defensive measurements of his performance. He is a still really good hitter, though. He generates tons of game power and raw power with a good batting average because he hits the ball on the line. He hits it really hard. He has tons of doubles. Doesn't have a huge home run total, but the doubles and extra base hits make up for it. He's going to hit for a good average. He's going to make a good amount of contact. I think overall, he's the kind of player who you can offer a 5 or 6 year deal to, put him at second base, and have a leadoff hitter for years to come. Teams who need offense, especially from the right-handed side, should be all over Bichette. I think, again, the Red Sox be a really, really good fit, but I ultimately believe the Toronto Blue Jays would be foolish to let him hit the market, especially considering that Jimenez is a good defensive shortstop and Bichette would slot in as their second baseman. It would give them 2 position players in Vlad and Bo Bichette to build around for years to come, and with a World Series potentially coming to Toronto, I think that they should retain him and make him a part of their future, not just someone who they had during the pre-arbitration and arbitration years and then let hit the market. Coming in at number 7, we have Ranger Suarez, who set a new career high in innings pitched, but that innings pitched number is a focal point of this free agent conversation. Suarez is someone who has not accumulated high volume seasons throughout his career, and that does present a concern, but he's been so effective on a start-to-start basis in both the regular and postseason that it makes him an intriguing free agent option. Furthermore, his fastball velocity has declined in recent years, which does make one wonder if teams are going to stay away from him for that reason, but he's not old. He'll turn 30 next year. It's not like he's incredibly old or in the last years of his career, but he's not incredibly young either for a free agent starting pitcher, so I do wonder how teams treat his free agent candidacy. Does he get a 4 or 5 year deal? Does he get a longer deal? What teams show interest? Will the Phillies, his incumbent team, show interest in retaining him? Those are all variables to note here, but I think there's a good amount of swing and miss in this profile to go with really good damage suppression. He does a great job of keeping the ball on the ground and avoiding the home run ball. He's pitched in Philadelphia, which is a very run-heavy environment and very good for the home run ball, but he has not fallen victim to big home run rates despite it. So I think teams are going to be in on Suarez. If you put him in a ballpark where it's more pitcher-friendly, he might be downright disgusting, just straight up unhittable, and I wonder if a team like the Giants would show interest, the Padres, those kinds of teams where their ballparks are pretty pitcher friendly. Maybe we see another team such as, there's not really a lot of central teams you can look at here, maybe the Cubs, but the Cardinals aren't really in a contention window. The Brewers don't look like a team that would spend that kind of money. Maybe look at a team like the Mariners. Maybe they want a starting pitcher, or maybe Texas. Their ballpark isn't as home run friendly as it used to be. I just wonder what his market looks like and where Suarez ends up. And I also wonder if teams value the fact he's pitched so well in a run-heavy ballpark to add to his free agent contract. Coming in at number 6, we have third baseman Alex Bregman, who was 25% better than the league average hitter, remained an above average defensive third baseman. In fact, I think that's underselling it. I still think he's a pretty darn good defender out there, and I believe his athleticism hasn't really waned to the point where you're concerned about his near-term future. Where you should be concerned is about offering him a long-term contract. He is 32 years old. I would anticipate that a team offering him a contract will be wary of paying him in his age 38, 39, and 40 seasons. Will the Boston Red Sox be willing to offer him a 4-year or 5-year deal with a really high annual average salary, perhaps a 5-year, $150 million contract? It virtually guarantees that Bregman will be a Red Sox for the remainder of his prime, and for the Red Sox, it gives them a leader, an anchor in their lineup, and it also gives Bregman financial security. He will have tons of money to work with, and I think it's one of the better deals he can get on the market, but other teams probably will threaten for Bregman's services. I do think that the Red Sox are clear favorites. In fact, if I were to bet on any team returning to their previous team on this list, I would bet on Bregman returning to the Red Sox more than I would bet on any other player returning to their own incumbent team, and that's just because the fit is so good. The Red Sox traded Devers away. They have payroll, they have salary, and it's not like there is a better defensive option on the market for third base. And if you look at someone like Eugenio Suarez, who did not make this list, his poor defensive value, his advancing age, that is not someone you want to invest in for 4 or 5 years. I think Bregman just ends up a Boston Red Sox. The bat to ball is really good. The walk rate returned to normal. The game power is still pretty good. He is a pretty darn good player. I think he's still a top 20 to 30 position player in all of baseball. And for that reason, I think Alex Bregman is a really good fit for the Red Sox. And we'll see who else is involved in his market. Coming in at number 5, we have Pete Alonso, who had his best offensive season in terms of OPS since 2019. He set career highs in barrel percentage and an average exit velocity, which gives teams a huge reason to sign him as either their first baseman or their DH. Teams like the Boston Red Sox and the New York Mets are really good fits for Alonso, but you have to wonder if teams like the Mariners, who traditionally don't spend a ton, are going to be angered by their postseason exit and try to acquire a star-level bat. Alonso is, objectively speaking, one of the best right-handed hitters in all of baseball. His power is unmatched by most. He put up 40-plus doubles this year with 38 home runs. He was incredible for the Mets this year offensively. He had that big home run in 24, which I believe spurred fans to be more interested in a reunion with Alonso that time around. But will they be as interested this time around? And more importantly, will the market be as dull for Alonso as it was last year? Without the qualifying offer to take away draft picks from teams who try to sign Alonso, I believe that teams like the Red Sox will be more aggressive because you can sign him for just money, not lose draft picks, not lose IFA money. Instead, you're just paying straight up cold hard cash, and he might be the best right-handed hitter on the market, and I don't know if anyone's even close. So Alonso, really good fit for a lot of teams, especially those in need of right-handed power. He is going to be someone who I think gets handsomely paid for first baseman this winter. Coming in at number 3, we have Framber Valdez, whose ERA did take a step back this past season. I think ultimately Framber Valdez's ability to pitch on a start-to-start basis, provide both efficiency and volume on a start-to-start basis, is going to be very valuable on this market. He is someone who is experienced in the postseason, who keeps the ball on the ground a lot, who gets a good amount of swings and misses, and his fastball velocity, even in his age 32 season, was better than where it was in his late 20s. So is Valdez someone who the Astros bring back? Are there other teams in the market who are interested in a starting pitcher who are willing to offer that 4 or 5 year high annual average salary deal to acquire his services? Only time will tell. Something I think is very interesting with Valdez's free agent case is that he's a little bit older than your median free agent pitcher. That's going to mean that starting pitchers who hit free agency of his caliber usually get longer term deals. But in Valdez's case, it's not like he's going to want a discount. I imagine that he's going to want to juice up the annual average salary over a 4 to 5 year window and hopefully be a part of a contending team and go out there and be their number 2 or maybe even number 1 starter. I can see a lot of teams being interested because of how good he is, but I do think it's important to note that what he did in the regular season with both the drop back in ERA and the character concerns in terms of being a diva, having that spat with his catcher, those are all things that are going to hurt his market. I do wonder what team signs him. I wonder what his market looks like. I wonder if the Astros bring him back. There are so many curious situations here. There are so many opportunities and possibilities in this scenario, but I still view Framber Valdez as a top 20 to 25 starting pitcher in baseball and someone who can be the number 1 on a World Series caliber team. That kind of player is invaluable to certain organizations, and therefore I think Valdez will have a robust market. Coming in at number 3, we have Cody Bellinger, who's an excellent defensive outfielder for the Yankees this past year and put up a 125 weighted runs created plus. He hit 29 home runs. A large part of that had to do with his ability to pull the ball at Yankee Stadium to right field. He runs the bases very well. He's a really good defender, tons of range, tons of versatility, and I think he's a much better player than where he was when he hit free agency in 2023, despite the fact that his OPS plus was higher back then. The way that Bellinger generates offense now is a little more sustainable than where it was in 2023, where Bellinger was very much fueled by a high batting average on balls in play and some pretty good home run luck, all things considered. Now, Bellinger is someone who hits the ball to right field a ton, and if you are a team with a favorable right field situation, you can have Bellinger in your lineup, and you know he's going to hit the ball to right field frequently and generate a good amount of home runs. Defensively, he is a brilliant defensive corner outfielder. Not so sure about his defense at center field anymore, but if you have to start him there for 2026, I don't think that would be an issue at all. Looking at his base running abilities, Bellinger is still an incredible athlete. He's very fast, he's very agile, he's very mobile. He's someone who can run the bases well, can take some extra bases, can steal a base or two occasionally. I ultimately think that he is such a well-rounded player. He might be the most well-rounded position player in this market, and for teams like the Yankees, the Phillies, the Mets who need outfield support, I think Bellinger makes a ton of sense. Kyle Schwarber is the number 2 free agent on my board, and he is one of the best hitters in all of baseball. If you look at the last 2 seasons, Kyle Schwarber has not just been integral to the Phillies offense, he has been arguably their best hitter. Over the last 2 seasons, Schwarber has produced a 143 weighted runs created plus, hitting 94 home runs, which is only behind Ohtani and Judge, and being just a force of nature, someone to be reckoned with in the middle of that offense. His ability to slug and get on base are incredibly valuable. He's been worth 8.3 WAR over that stretch, which means as a DH, he's averaging roughly 4 wins above replacement per year over that stretch. What I wonder is, entering his age 33 season, how much do you trust Schwarber's ability to perform in 2026, 2027, and 2028? Do you give him a 4-year deal? Does he get a 5-year deal? Does he get a 3-year deal with an option? What does the AAV look like? You have to also think, if we're talking about a guy at his peak and it's averaging about 4 to 5 wins above replacement a season in your peak, that player isn't someone who you're going to be comfortable giving $35 million to a year. Could Schwarber be someone who gets a 4-year, $115 million deal? I think that is something that would be fair. It's close to $30 million. It gives him a 9-figure salary, and for a DH, that's really freaking good money. But is it something that is going to be the highest bid? Are the Phillies going to bid higher? Are the Mets going to be in this? Are the Red Sox going to be in this? It's a question of whether the value lines up for other teams, whether the Phillies are going to be outbid or not. Do the Phillies have to worry about being outbid? Do they have the most aggressive offer as the team who is the incumbent? Time will tell, but if you add Kyle Schwarber to your lineup, you're adding a huge impact bat, and he would immediately make their team significantly better. Whether it's the Phillies, bringing him back and restoring that offensive power, going to the Red Sox, going to the Mets, going to any team that needs offensive support and has money right now, he would be a massive impact wherever he goes. Coming in at number 1, we have Kyle Tucker, who is, in my opinion, the obvious choice for this pick because he is just such a darn good hitter. Over the last 2 years, it's a 156 OPS plus, more walks drawn than strikeouts. Defensively, he's not a gold glove corner outfielder the way he was in his younger days, but I still think he's a capable defensive outfielder. He was pretty solid in the right field corner for the Cubs. He was about a league average defender, and right field in Wrigley is incredibly difficult, especially when you factor in how windy it is and how fly balls can kind of just have a mind of their own sometimes in the air. If you look at the year prior, he was an elite level defender in right field in Houston. I think a lot of teams should be in. The Dodgers, Giants, Yankees, Cubs, Phillies, Red Sox. Everyone should be in on this guy's services because he's a left-handed hitter who hits lefties well. He'll be 29 next year. He's an incredibly talented and gifted hitter. He's got good game power. He's got really good feel for contact. He's got a great eye at the plate. He's the most well-rounded hitter on this market. He's one of the most well-rounded hitters in baseball. And if you look at the last 4 years, since 2022, Kyle Tucker is 8th in WRC+. You want to shrink that to the last 3 years, he's 7th. You want to shrink that to the last 4 years, he's not a qualified hitter because he dealt with an injury. So if you go minimum 700 plate appearances, Kyle Tucker finds himself as 5th with a 152 WRC+. So wherever you look at this, Kyle Schwarber's been a top 10 hitter in the last 2, 3, 4, and if you want to go back to 5 years, he's also inside the top 10 over that stretch as well. I believe he is exactly 10th in WRC+ over that stretch. Yes, he is. So he's just such a good player. Any team would be lucky to have him. And again, I think that he's going to be the highest paid player on this market for a very good reason. He could get $400 million. I wouldn't be stunned, and I wouldn't be against it if I was a team signing him. If I'm the Yankees, I want him. If I'm the Phillies, I want him. If I'm the Red Sox, if I'm the Dodgers, the Giants, he's just such a good fit. On whatever team you put him on, he is the perfect addition to any lineup. He is a well-rounded hitter. You put him in front of your number 1 guy, and he's going to mash. I'd even put the Blue Jays in this conversation for teams that should be in. He is so darn good, and I personally believe the Yankees are the team that should be all over it. But that's just me being a Yankee fan. Anywho, if you guys enjoyed today's video, make sure you guys like and subscribe. Turn on that notification bell to get updates on my next uploads. And comment and tell me what you think about this list. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think certain guys are ranked too high? What omissions did I have that you would have included on this list? All of that and more. I want to know your guys' opinions. And thank you guys again for tuning in. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.